retired for a little while now. I'm thankful that even in a time like this, that for children of the Lord, we can have that promise that He will deliver us. We might not always know how or when, but I know that He will, and I'm thankful that we have that promise to cling to, and I'm thankful that we can look for that promise even of just heaven. You know, one day that's what we're striving for anyway, our eternal home. Hopefully I got the right key here. These days it's easy to give in to the fears when it appears all hope is gone. We wonder how long will we have to be strong and endure. It's almost as if secure. And no matter what comes, we can trust that He will deliver us. Oh, He will deliver us. His hand is sure. Our hope is secure. And no matter what comes, we can trust He will deliver us. Yes, He will deliver us. He will deliver us. That part that in the song when it says, it's almost as if I can hear a cloud of witnesses, the saints who've gone before us saying, keep the faith, don't lose heart. You know, I think about, the Bible talks about that, you know, a cloud of witnesses, but I even think about those who've gone on. I know for me, my papa Arvin is one of them I think of, who was strong in the faith, you know, and he just was a man of God. I tell people often, you know, and especially my husband, I tell him, you know, that about every time I would walk into their house, my papa, you know, he was a preacher, he was pastor for almost 52 years, but he wasn't just a pastor, you know, he wasn't just up in the pulpit when it was time, you know, and all of a sudden got himself together. When I walked in their house, my mama and papa's house, he was either at the table, you know, reading the Word of God, or he was back in the back room praying on his knees, you know, and then I know Andy's grandma, his grandma Joyce, and different ones that's gone on. I can imagine them, you know, just looking down and saying, oh, don't give up, honey. Don't give up. I know it's getting hard. Oh, but if you'll just keep pressing on, you'll make it to that city. You know, and I just can't help but to imagine that. You know, that they're saying, they're rooting for us. They're saying, come on, come on.
Yes.
You know, that I know it looks hot and it looks hard sometimes. The pressure is on and the heat is turned up, it seems like, but that's part of living in this world. But if we could see it through the lens of God and the temporary side of things, I know sometimes we feel in our minds the mountain is so big. It looks so big and it looks like something we can't conquer and overcome. But if we would just look at it temporarily, you know, how it really is, because this is all just temporary. And it'll all pass away one of these days, and I believe sooner rather than later. I'm telling you, I want to lay my eyes upon the treasures in heaven, set my affections on things above, lay my treasures in heaven. You know, and I think the time we're living in, it's showing us where we really are standing, or where we've stood at least on some things lately. And, you know, we don't need to talk too much about it because there's been plenty of talk about it. You know, I'm not here to put more discouragement on you, but I want to encourage you to look to the Lord. And if you've got somebody that's maybe paved the path for you, maybe that's went on, maybe you don't have somebody, but if you do, I want you to think about those people that say it, don't give up. It's worth the journey if you'll just keep pressing on. It's worth the journey if you'll just keep pressing on. If you'll just hold to His hand, or if you'll keep running, heaven will be worth the journey when I get there. If I could play it, I would sing it, but I can't do it. But if we'll just set our mind upon that, these things will all pass away and it's all temporary. But I'm telling you what, we're living and we're striving for a place in eternity. We're going to make heaven or hell our home. And I'm telling you, eternity is a long time. And I just pray, I've even been praying, you know, it's not a time for me to look at everybody else and say, well, this one's doing that wrong and that one's doing that wrong. It can be easy to do. Not that I've never done it, you know, and I ask the Lord to forgive me when I get that place, you know, but I've been praying about myself, Lord, whatever might be in my life, you know. I don't want nothing to separate me from you, you know, because I know that this is just temporary. Oh, if I could just get my eyes set upon the one, who I've said I've known all this time, and fall more in love with Him. It's all about Him today. Oh, Jesus, hallelujah. 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 I think we make things harder than it is, you know. And you know, if you've been feeling just so, there might be a lot of people that feels good right now and feels peace, but there might be somebody that doesn't. There might be plenty of people that doesn't. Maybe you don't want to share with others, you know, but maybe you're that person that's been feeling just fearful or just full of so much in your mind, so much turmoil. Maybe you're that person. I'm telling you, but it even done me some good earlier to step outside and let the wind blow in my face and just talk to the Lord. And sometimes the enemy doesn't want you to do nothing like that. He doesn't want you to call on the name of the Lord. But if you will just call out to Him, I'm telling you what, just lift up His name and start magnifying